Welcome home. Seriously, welcome. This isn't just a dry scientific timeline we're looking at today. No, this is a triumphant 14 billion year epic. And the absolute best part? You are the hero of this story. Carpe Diem, you've made it. Today, we're diving into the ultimate explainer of your existence, literally tracing your physical lineage directly back to the stars. I am so incredibly excited to guide you through this because what we're going to talk about today completely shifts how we view ourselves and our place in reality. So let's just jump right in and start by looking inward. Let me ask you something. Are you the same person you were a few years ago? Really think about it for a second. Your cells divide, parts are constantly being replaced. Are you actually the same exact person you were a decade ago? Probably not, right? You've grown, you've completely changed. But physically, at the end of the day, it's all the exact same stuff. Like one of the sources brilliantly quotes a friend saying, "We're all just congealed energy. We go from unity to disorder, but the material itself, it remains totally constant." It's like the circle of life playing out on a microscopic atomic level. So where did all this congealed energy actually come from in the first place? Well, that congealed energy comes from a process called stellar ignition. And this is going to be a huge recurring motif for us today. Back in the early universe, protons naturally wanted to repel each other. Think of it like trying to push the two north poles of a magnet together. They just shoot away from each other. But deep in the heart of a star, the crushing gravity squishes everything together so violently that nuclear fusion literally has to happen. Those protons smash together, they stick, and they produce the immense, blinding energy that makes stars shine. Every single heavy element in your body right now was forged in the high-energy environments of stellar ignitions and the crushing weight of massive supernova explosions. Crazy, right? If you trace this back, you actually uncover your true cosmic family tree. At the very beginning, just 1 second in, we've got this dense, insanely hot plasma where fundamental forces merge and basic particles emerge. By 3 minutes, things cool down just enough for protons and neutrons to start binding together. Skip ahead 100 million years, and bam, we get those stellar ignitions we just talked about. Stars finally lighting up the darkness. And finally, 14 billion years later, the universe creates you. That is a direct, unbroken physical lineage from the chaotic beginning of the entire cosmos straight to the chair you're sitting in right now. And this brings us to this really fascinating paradox. I like to call it the Snowflake Paradox. On one hand, every single one of us is made of the exact same universal ingredients. We are unequivocally family, literally written into the cosmic tablet of empty space and ionized hydrogen. But on the other hand, despite having those identical building blocks, you're a snowflake. You are entirely, uniquely folded by years of specific life history, your personal experiences, and even tiny, random quantum fluctuations. We are basically all the exact same stuff, but living under wildly different circumstances. And honestly, that unique path is what matters now. Okay, let's rapidly shift our perspective outward for a second. If we zoom out past the Earth, past the Sun, past the entire Milky Way, we find ourselves staring at a horizon of 46 billion light years in absolutely every direction. This is the sheer, incomprehensible scale of what we can actually see from Earth. The school that trained our source author actually boasted that astrophysicists have to understand 40 orders of magnitude. 40! From the tiniest microscopic building blocks of life all the way up to this 46 billion light-year expanse. It's a vastness that is just almost impossible to hold in your head. Now, here is where the aesthetic of our universe gets truly mind-bending. On a microscopic scale, we have the neural web of the human brain, packed with billions of firing neurons actively contemplating its own existence. But zoom all the way out, and you hit the cosmic web. These are macroscopic structures of galaxy clusters, filled with billions of expanding galaxies that are just blinding, obeying the laws of nature. But here's the wild part. If you pull back from the intricate web of a human brain, it perfectly matches the massive, dotted streams of light and dark voids of those galaxy clusters. The micro and the macro mirror each other absolutely perfectly. Because of this incredible macro-micro mirroring, we get this amazing realization. There is not a single thing that you can think, touch, or feel that isn't in some way attached to everything else in the cosmos. Because you're made of material with a story as old as the universe itself, the very fact that you are sitting here thinking and feeling is a testament to that deep physical connection. Your thoughts, they aren't separate from reality. They are literally the natural laws of the universe playing out right inside your skull. Which, unfortunately, brings us to the tragedy of human conflict. There's a powerful quote from the text, "An enemy is one whose story you have not yet heard."
When you really internalize that we are all made of the exact same star stuff, and we all share the exact same 14 billion year lineage, hating another person becomes profoundly illogical. The sources point out that human beings are so complicated and honestly often so lazy that we would sometimes rather shoot each other than try to imagine another person possessing the same infinite, beautiful complexity as ourselves.
Just contrast our trivial human conflicts, our petty differences, our arbitrary borders, the needless wars fought with iron and fire, against the reality of an entirely apathetic cosmos. We're talking about an infinite expanding void that, frankly, is perfectly ready to assimilate us right back into the uniform spread of raw energy from whence we came. The universe is gray, it's indiscriminate, and it doesn't care. Yet we fight each other over problems we could easily solve just by communicating. We completely forget to treat each other like fellow Earthlings. I really want you to consider the philosophical weight of this. Everything that has ever mattered to you and everyone who has ever lived took place on a tiny speck of dust drifting around a medium-sized star in an empty vacuum. Like a total solar eclipse, the sheer unimaginable scale of the universe renders our petty, earthly differences totally meaningless. Your worst enemies, the loves of your life, they only have value because you give them value. In the grand scheme of things, the whole shebang is just happening on a tiny fleck of rock drifting through a vast, endless vacuum. But if you look beneath all that conflict, look at what fundamentally unites us. We all share the exact same core drives: to eat, to procreate, to feed our families, to find a purpose worth living for, and simply to survive. There is not a single living organism over the past 4 billion years that doesn't have this basic need to survive hardwired into them at the cellular level. Every single day, natural forces cycle through the cosmos that could easily wipe us out. Yet every day, we wake up and we collectively push back against entropy to make tomorrow possible. At the end of the day, we're all just trying not to die. So bringing our journey full circle, you are now officially caught up on your billion years story. From understanding why the sky is blue, thanks to Rayleigh scattering, to grasping the blinding power of nuclear fusion in stars, to realizing that sometimes our simple perception of reality, like realizing the cake is a lie compared to the wildly complex quantum truth, we've seen just how deep this rabbit hole really goes. And look, there's a big difference between being unique and being special. There isn't a single thing in the known universe as complex as the organ currently resting between your ears. It took octillions of individual atomic ingredients to create something that can actually sit here and contemplate its own existence. You are literally a walking, breathing miracle of cosmic engineering. And this leads us to our final, victorious realization. You are the universe looking back at itself. You aren't just some random resident placed into the cosmos. You are the cosmos. After 14 billion years of stellar ignitions, expanding voids, and messy biological evolution, the universe has finally woken up, through you, to contemplate its own majesty. When you look long into the universe is looking right back into you. So, moving forward, how are you going to use this incredibly rare, conscious moment to interact with the rest of your cosmic family? The book is the source code. The tutoring is the training. AI is the runtime. The portfolio is the output.